Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, G-DoesIt. My name is Given Mbata, and if you're new here, welcome to the DIY family. If you've not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, and thank you so much for your continuous love, support, and for engaging with me on my other social media platforms. I really do appreciate it, you guys. And so excited because today's video is my first DIY project. My first DIY project today, and as you saw from the title of the video, I am going to be making a bath tray as my first DIY project. So without wasting any more time, let's get into the video. Okay guys, so I already have my pine wood. So all we're going to do now is take measurements of the bathtub. We're going to take measurements of the width of the bathtub. And you're going to need your tape measure as well as a ruler, or just a tape measure, whatever you prefer. I prefer using both. I found it much easier to use both the tape measure as well as the ruler. And then you're going to need a pencil as well. And then after taking measurements of the width, you need to now mark those measurements on your wood using your pencil. And then just draw a line, and just make sure you use a pencil so that you can erase it when you're done. And this is going to be the size of our bath tray in total. And then now what I'm doing is taking measurements of the bottom pieces. You're going to need 2 bottom pieces just to keep it from moving around so that it doesn't wiggle around. Both pieces must be the same size. And then because I want mine to have some accessories, I'm putting my phone cover because I'm using my phone to film. So you're going to need to take measurements now of the phone as well if you also want to do what I'm doing. And then make sure to leave space for you to be able to grab your phone without a problem. So just leave space in between, enough space for you to grab your phone. So because I also want my tray to have tea light candles, I am going to place them on my tray, and then I'm just going to take the measurements. So lastly, I also want to have a glass holder, so I'm just going to take measurements of my wine glass so that I can have some whatever to drink whilst taking a bath. And then after taking measurements, this is what it should look like. Should have space for the tea light candles, our phone holder, as well as our glass holder. And that's going to be the size of our tray. Okay guys, so now I'm just going to time lapse the video, and all I'm doing now is just cutting my piece of wood using the Jigsaw from Bosch. This is why I said you should draw the lines using your pencil so that you know exactly where to cut when you cut your wood. Oh, and last thing guys, preferably for this project use a slightly thinner wood, pine wood. As you can see there at the corner, I did try to do this with a much thicker pine wood, and I really struggled to do that. So I then went and bought a much thinner pine wood to do this project. And then now what I'm going to be using is a spade bit, a 30mm spade bit, and I'm just going to be using my drill. This is to create the perfect circle for our wine glass. So I'm just going to measure it nicely and then I'm just going to drill. I honestly don't know what I would have done without the spade bit to get the perfect circle, to be honest with you. So this is definitely a great investment for a project like this. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab my jigsaw so that we can create the wine glass holder. I'm just going to grab my jigsaw and let's go. And then you can just check with your glass if it fits, and there we have it. It fits perfectly. So that's done now, and then let's move on to the next. Our 2 pieces of wood which are going to go underneath like so. Perfect. Okay, so now you're gonna need to grab your chisel as well as your hammer and let's get chiseling. So all I'm doing now is firstly outlining where my pencil lines, where I'm going to place my phone cover. I'm just outlining it with the chisel before I start chipping the wood. And then now I'm just chipping off the wood. So the reason why you outline is so that when you start doing this process, you don't exceed where you drew your line. You don't exceed where you drew your line. And so this is what it looks like at the moment. Sorry for the lighting. I know I didn't realize my camera was not focused, but you get the gist. Okay, so now you need to do the same thing for the tea light candles. The same thing you did for the phone holder, you need to do for the tea light candles on both sides. So I'm just going to do the rest of the chiseling work off camera, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like after. Smooth, like it's very smooth. I know it's not even, but it's smooth. Probably. So all I'm doing now is I'm just going to sand it down, and I am using an 8 grit sanding paper to just smoothen it out to prepare it for our wood sealant. Preferably after sanding it down, use a vacuum if you've got a vacuum, or a brush, and just brush it out. Brush all the bits and pieces of wood. And then I'm also going to sand the 2 pieces, the 2 bottom pieces. Just gonna sand them out as well. Okay, so now our next step is to drill our screws in at the bottom with our holding pieces. But my camera ran out of battery whilst I was still filming, so I did put glue. I did use glue for my bottom pieces to hold. I'm just going to add the screws just as an extra hold, but I did apply glue prior to using the screws. So when you use your screws, you need to be very careful. Make sure you purchase the right size screws that will not stick out at the front of your bath tray. So you need to get a slightly smaller size just to hold the pieces together. Okay, so I'm going to be using the wood sealant in the color teak. You can use whatever color you want to use. I'm just going to use teak for this one. And then I'm just going to apply it all over. Do apply this according to the application instructions of whatever brand you are using. So I'm first going to go in with the roller just to even it out nicely, and then for the tight corners I'm going to use a brush. So as you can see, it's dark now. I'm just going to apply the first coat of the wood sealant, and then I'm just going to call it a night. Good morning, guys. So as you guys remember, yesterday we did apply the first coat of the wood sealant, and I said I was gonna let it dry overnight. But what I did do was I also applied underneath, because we didn't apply the coat underneath. So I just waited for it to dry for about 30 minutes before I could apply the underneath, and then I just let it dry the whole night. And yeah, it is a bit sunny today, but let's go have a look at what our bath tray looks like. So this is what our bath tray looks like today. I really am loving the whole rustic feel to it. You know, I was a bit worried that it's not as smooth as I would have liked for it to be, but I'm really loving the whole rustic feel to it. I don't know, what do you think? So now for the final, I promise, for the final touches, I am going to be adding the handles. So I went and purchased the cupboard handles from my local hardware store, and I'm just going to show you guys. I got the dark gray ones, which I think will look very nice with the teak sealant. So yeah, please make sure that when you do this, you take measurements correctly for the handles. Make sure that they will fit properly. You will see why in a jiffy. out like this. Then I'm just going to put this. So I did make a mistake. I guess I did not measure it correctly. So all I'm going to do now is create another hole just a little bit below that one. And this is definitely risky what I'm doing here, so please do learn from my mistake, because the hole could potentially double. So as you can see, it did work. And it fits perfectly. And then now we're just going to tighten it together just to make sure that our handle is holding properly. And then do the same thing for the other side. Okay, there we go, guys. Personally, I think the handles were the perfect touch. It complements the color of the wood so perfectly. This is our final product. I really love how it looks in my bathroom. I think this is going to be a beautiful piece. And if you guys loved this, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching up until the end of the video, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you do try doing this, please send it to me on my other social media platforms. I'd really love to see what you guys do. Thank you. Bye.